How are you? Happy Wednesday. Welcome to What's Up Wednesday. So, I just have a couple things to share with you today. And some stuff that I got from my reading. I have a couple little things to share with you from my reading today. I sound like a pastor, don't I? Welcome. Let me share some things from my reading. It's the Church of Spartan Nation. Welcome to it this morning. But here's what I wanted to share with you first and foremost. So, and I noticed it from my friends on social media yesterday. I noticed it with my daughters, and I noticed it with myself this week. This week has felt harder. It was interesting because we started Sunday, great. Sunday, amazing. Mother's Day, blah, blah, blah. I mean, crappy weather day, but it is what it is. And, you guys, my light just went out. I can't even. Hold, please. I don't know what's happening anymore. I don't know what's happening. And they don't have a clue. I have no light. Okay, well, I'm glad I'm standing over here where I could have the light. This is sort of what this is what I'm talking about. So Sunday was fine. Mother's Day, awesome, yay, excellent. Mother's Day. I'm very perplexed by this light situation. And then Monday I got up and our Wi-Fi was out, and those kinds of things kind of just throw you off a little bit. But hold on, I'm just perplexed by this Wi-Fi or by this light situation. If you've been in quarantine for 2 months and you just kind of need a facial, you need all the good lighting that you can get. Does anyone want to agree with me, or is it just me? What is happening? You guys, I want my light. Okay. See, here's the thing. So now I'm just going to be out because now it doesn't really matter where I am at this point. Here's the thing. I noticed it Monday when Wi-Fi was out and like my schedule was off because I couldn't get on my natural masterminds. I didn't have the rhythm of my day because our Wi-Fi was out and everything was off. I had to reschedule calls and just weird. I'm like, okay, weird, just a weird day. Yesterday, kind of a weird day. Today, kind of a weird day. And as a Scorpio, I sort of pay attention to, I'm pretty intuitive. And as a Scorpio, I'm just paying attention to what's going on. I'm seeing this happen with other people. I'm seeing them just be like, okay, I'm over this, kind of attitude. And I said to my daughters, I'm like, are you seeing this too? And Josie said, well, I think it's because we are like 2 months into the quarantine right now. And we had hoped that maybe we'd be starting to get a little better and maybe starting to open back up. And if you're really looking at true factual data, and I'm not going to get into politics right now because I'm not, but if you're looking at true factual data and not some of the not data that comes out, we're not close to being done with this, so now you're looking at 2 months in quarantine and you're thinking, well, holy crap, we start to open up again and there's going to be a resurgence, so it's just like all this stuff. And I was feeling it this week and my daughters are feeling it this week. And I'm watching the two that are home and Jenna in DC start to make different plans for the fall. Now, if you have younger children, you might be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do about homeschooling? I'm going to be real talk here with you. Okay. Real talk. I'm not saying homeschooling isn't challenging, but 4th grade math is not going to make or break your child's future. When you have older children in grad school or looking to get a job and they don't know what's happening in the fall, it starts to get a little hairier. You know what I'm saying? So now I've got an older daughter who is trying to, if her grad school goes online in the fall, why is she staying in DC? You know, come home, save that money. I've got 2 daughters who go to school in New York City. New York City, the epicenter of this entire virus. Do they go back? Do they not? I have one daughter who's in musical theater. Broadway just closed down through September. So who knows if it will open, and a lot of people don't think it'll open till 2021. So now you've got that putting in the mix. They're applying to other schools right now. They're applying to Butler. They're starting to make plan Bs and plan Cs, and all this is going on, and this is all in my head. At the same time, I'm trying to figure out, freaking A, I gotta level up. I gotta level up because I can feel the momentum in the network, and I don't know that I'm feeling it in our team, and I've got to get better. And I'm telling you this, that I'm having an off week and I still show up. I need you to understand that, and not as an understanding like I'm so much better than anyone else, because I'm not. I have no special skills or talent or any of that. I am telling you this so that every person on this team understands that every person on this team has shit going on. All right? Every person on this team. Some people have more than others. Not me. I'm not on the front lines. I'm not a healthcare worker. I have an incredible team that's on fire right now. But I have daughters who are trying to figure out what the hell they're doing in the fall. I have a husband who has no idea if we've got a football season. There's stuff that all of us are dealing with. Here's the difference. Here's the difference between successful coaches and unsuccessful coaches. Here's the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. No, I'm not amazing, Elizabeth. I swear to you, that's not why I'm telling you this. I'm telling you this to help all of us understand that it's not someone's more amazing than someone else. It's that I just choose to show up. I am going to show up. For 12 years, I am showing up. I don't care what else is going on in my life. We are on a mission. We have lives to change. And when I'm not feeling great, or I'm blah, or I'm confused or whatever, that does not mean the business isn't great, that the business opportunity isn't great, that the products and programs we offer aren't great, or that the mission that this team is on isn't great. Those things don't change. So just because maybe we all have stuff in our head and maybe we're feeling a little off, which I think is the normal human evolution of this whole weird, wonky, surreal situation, just because we have that going on, that does not change the awesomeness of the business opportunity, the awesomeness of our products and programs. It doesn't change. I'm still going to show up and invite people to this team and to this opportunity and to my group, because the greatness of those things haven't changed. I hope that I'm saying what I'm thinking in my head, because I want people to understand that it is absolutely normal and absolutely human to have weird off days. Period. It is absolutely normal and absolutely human to have weird off days, especially now. We have weird off days when we're not in a pandemic, right? That's just humans are weird. We just are. And we have lots of stuff going on, and we get in our heads about a lot of things, and we have weird off days, whether it's a pandemic or not. Now you throw in a completely new and never been done before world situation with an extreme lack of clarity and direction as to what's really happening or what we should be doing. And this weird place of like, well, we do need to open things up so people have some economic stability. But yeah, and it's weird. And things are changing, and things are changing every day. And we have to come up with options, and we've got all this stuff going on. And not one of those things diminishes the awesomeness of what we have to offer. So an off day, whether it's pandemic or not, does not affect whether I show up for my business, for this team, for my family, for myself. Period. End of discussion. End of discussion. Because even on an off day, the business isn't off. The opportunity isn't off. The program that I just did, Bar Blend, that's not off. That's freaking amazing. My shake's not off. Energize isn't off. My personal development isn't off. This team's not, like, none of these things are off. None of these things have diminished in their greatness or in their life changingness, if that's a word. And so I don't really tell you a lot of stuff that's going on in our personal life because that's just not relevant to a degree, you know? And I'm telling you this today because over the last 2 months, I see coaches who, because they have stuff going on outside the business, choose to show up not for the business. But the stuff outside the business does not affect the awesomeness of the stuff that's in the business. The fact that I've got to figure out a plan B for my daughters doesn't mean that all of a sudden the Beachbody opportunity is not good. Or the fact that I may have all 5 JVs living at home in the fall doesn't mean our products and programs aren't good. The fact that I might have an off day because my Wi-Fi is off, first world problems, doesn't mean the business isn't good. Do you see what I'm saying? There's no connection here. So just because we have an off day doesn't mean we still don't show up to our business, because the business hasn't changed. The team hasn't changed. The goal hasn't changed. The products and the programs haven't changed. Having an off day doesn't mean they're bad. It just means we're having an off day and we still show up to share the thing that we know can change our lives. And if we don't lean into the thing that we know can change our lives, how can our life change? Period. So on a day when I'm like, freaking hey, we're gonna have to look at a plan B for these girls, maybe, and I don't know what's happening. I mean, California State University just shut down their fall classes. Boston has shut down their fall classes online. We are just waiting for the announcement from Pace University and Marymount University that they're going online in the fall. We're just waiting for it. It's the epicenter. And those girls upstairs are making plan Bs. They're not waiting around going, gosh, I'm the victim here, which is going to lead into what I'm going to share with you in a little bit. I'm the victim here. Woe is me. What am I going to do? They're making plans. Their education, their opportunity for their education hasn't changed, even though they might be having an off day. Their desire to have a better life, to enhance themselves, hasn't changed even though they might be having an off day. This business and the greatness of the business doesn't change just because we're not having an off day. And what if we're having an off day and we don't show up to invite to this business that is not having an off day by any means, and we don't show up, and that was the day someone needed us to show up. This is not about us. It is absolutely okay and expected to have an off day. Yes. It is absolutely not okay to not show up to the business which is not having an off day, to the business that can change your life. It is absolutely not okay. Will some days you be in flow more than others? Some days you'll be chugging along more than others. Some days you'll be like just in it more than others? Yes. But let me tell you something that will not change how you feel in here. If you want to change how you feel in here, take action. You want to not change how you feel in here? Sit in it and stew in it. And just think about it. And be a victim to it. You want to change this feeling of helplessness or frustration that we might feel? Start taking action. Here's what these 2 girls up here, 18 years old and 21 years old. Jenna's waiting. She's 24, right? Jenna's taking care of 4 dogs right now. So she's just waiting to hear what's happening with her grad school if they're going online. But those 2 are already making plans. They're not sitting around going, well, freaking A, I'm in a major musical theater it's not even open right now. Josie lost an internship at Disney this summer. She's supposed to be at Disney this fall. Who knows? Okay, could they sit around at 18 and 21 and be like, woe is me? You would expect them to a degree, because they don't have the maturity or the emotional intelligence to sort of move forward, you would think, except they're not. Because we have learned in our house, and we have learned through this business, and we have learned through life experience, that if we want to get out of feeling like we're helpless or we're frustrated, we take action. So that action might be something small. It might be, let me go online and research some options. Let me go ahead and fill out my Butler application so that I've got that submitted already. Let me get my transcripts and send those in. Let me have some conversations with some mentors. Both of them have had conversations with guidance counselors and mentors to start to put into process some plan Bs just in case their schools don't open. So rather than sit around and go, woe is me, they're taking action, because that action makes us feel better. Think of it this way. If you are sitting at Success Club 0 right now, the best thing you can do is take action. Okay, because you control you. And you can sit around and go, freaking I'm at Success Club 0? Because, I've been there on like the 25th of the month. And that means I'm not doing my job. I'm sitting around not doing my job. But if you're at Success Club 0 or you haven't added new coaches this month, okay, so what action can I take? What action can I take to get me out of this where I am? Because sitting in it is not going to do that. And I hope that you are receiving this with the love and the experience that I am sharing it with. I am not sharing this with you in a to make anyone feel bad or to make anyone feel guilty. I'm sharing it with you as a reminder that everyone has hard days and everyone has hard moments, and those are going to be, I think, felt even more right now in this time when there's nothing else to feel, Like I got up this morning and like my ring light fell over and then something else happened, and I was like, does anyone really care if they see me make my Energize one more time this morning? I mean, really, that's what I'm thinking, because for 2 months, every day, it's the same routine every day. And consistency is my superpower. But at the same time, in the normal world, which we even can't say that anymore, but in the world prior to this virus, I would have been making my Energize in New York, watching Jessie on stage as Sandy in Greece as a freshman. Hello, kind of a big deal. I would have been making my Energize in Punta Cana. I would have been making my Energize again in New York at Kendra Hall's live storytelling workshop. I would have been making my Energize in Paris at the live launch at the end of this month. Like, I would have been making my Energize. That part would have been consistent. But the views that I would have had and the locations would have changed. So here I am back in my kitchen making my Energize. And there was a moment where I'm like, does anyone really freaking care if I make my Energizing in a day? And then I went, yes, I care. That's called integrity. That's called showing up. It's called doing the thing that you know you need to do, because on this day, what if that one person watched me make Energize one more time for the 60th day in a row in my kitchen, at my kitchen table, and went, well, holy heck, it's time. It's time. What if I hadn't shown up today making my Energize, and that was the day that someone was ready to say yes, but I just didn't show up because I didn't feel like it, because I had other things in my head. We all have other things in our head. And I'm saying this to you with love and as a reminder and a perspective that it's not about us. When we have our off days and we're not feeling it, we have to remind ourselves this business is not about us. We absolutely Y'all, do not get this twisted. We absolutely can acknowledge that we're having an off day. I will say to my family, I'm having an off day, because that way if I get snappy or weird with them, I've said it. I've put it out there and said, I'm having an off day, okay? And so that way, it's that. I mean, doesn't do anybody any good if you don't communicate, right? And then I thought, well, what could I do yesterday that might help me? And it was 57 degrees, y'all. And if you know me, I need it to be 77 and above. And I just walked out of my house and took a 10-minute walk outside in some sunshine. And I just breathed some air. And I went outside in the sunshine. And I came back. I'm like, all right, let's get back to work. Let's go. It's not about me. Acknowledge it. I acknowledge it. I acknowledge it in the private moments sometimes when they can't see me, because I think it's sucky that we have to start to think about a plan B. I think it's sucky that, Josie, who sat on a couch for a year through 4 really hard, really painful hip surgeries and got her life on track to go to school, is now having to look at another option and back at home. I think it's really sucky that Jenna, my oldest, who graduated from college and worked in New York for a year and made the very adult decision that she thought she needed her graduate degree and took out a student loan to pay for it herself, now is looking at age 24, maybe moving back home because of this pandemic. I think it's sucky that Jessie is a musical theater major and is living in the epicenter of musical theater and may have to be home and Broadway's closed. I think it's sucky that my husband, who was put here on this earth to change young men's lives through the game of football, may or may not have a season next year. We don't know. I think all those things are sucky. And in my private moments, I acknowledge that those things are sucky. And then I get back to work, because there are other people out there who have sucky too, but they don't have a team and they don't have tools and they don't have resources and they don't have any of this to help them understand it's not about them. It's funny. I had a conversation yesterday with someone and I asked him a favor about something. And, would you do this for my team? This would be really cool. I really have a hard time with the virtual stuff and it's just really not a lot of fun for me. So I'm just have to say no. And in my head, I thought, this is not about you. You don't get that. Okay. It's not about you. So even on the days when it is sucky, and I have those private moments of suckiness, and I kind of go into my closet and I go, well, this kind of sucks. And then I go out of my house and I take a little 10-minute walk, clear my head, and I come back and I go, well, I better get back to work then. I better get back to work, because my mission with my personal business has always been to make sure I'm saying yes to the other 4 JVs and providing and creating experiences for my family that we wouldn't have been doing on a high school English teacher's salary or a football coach's salary. That hasn't changed. No matter what their situations are, that's still my motivation with my personal business. And then to get to do it with this incredible group of mostly women, and to set a goal that's never been done before in the company, and to do it with you and in your personal businesses, help you do the things that you want to do for and with your family, for and with your life, and to harness all that and come together and work towards a goal as a team. That's something that's never been done before. Well, I'm going to get over myself a little more quickly when I remember this is not about me. And this is not about me sitting in the suck. And there are people out there who don't have this to tap into, to remind them that there are tools. I mean, even something as simple as our book club on Saturday. That, y'all, I haven't stopped thinking about it. Like, that was so powerful to me, this 109 people showing up on a Saturday morning to talk about books and personal growth. There are so many people who don't have that in their lives. There are so many people who don't have simple ways to move their body, to get their nutrition under control. There are people who don't have community in their lives. And as someone who's always sort of felt like an outsider all my life, the fact that we have this, it's not about me. It's about this. It's about this. And I think it's important we acknowledge the hard days, acknowledge the hard moments, and then we just as quickly get over ourselves. Because if an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old and a 24-year-old can do that, I think grown-ass women can do that too. Real talk. I just think we can. I think we're smarter and we're better than we give ourselves credit for, and we stay in the suck because sometimes that's easy. Although I don't know why, because it feels gross. And what feels really good to humans is action. So it doesn't have to be action that is life-changing in the moment, but it has to be action. The 10-minute walk that I took yesterday cleared my head. I got right back to work. I filmed a video, I created some content, it was a 10-minute walk. It was action. I've added some new coaches to Josie and Jesse this month. I haven't personally added any new coaches this month. Well, I better get my booty in gear, hadn't I? So that means I need to take some action. I need to take some action. I can't sit in the fact that life is weird right now and I'm having a weird week. I need to take some action because there's other people out there who are having a weird week too. But they don't have this, and they don't have this overriding big picture of a vision that's so big that it keeps me on track. And for 12 years, you cannot possibly think. And think about Carl Deichler, who this week shared that it was the 21st anniversary of the very first Beachbody order. Can you imagine how different your life would be if when Carl Deichler and John Congdon had that conversation about this kind of business and kind of wrote it out on a napkin in a restaurant and then decided to say yes and do it. Can you imagine how different your life would be if they had said, you know what, I'm having an off day today. Just don't think I'm going to do this. Can you imagine how different your life would be? Can you imagine how different your life would be in the 21 years of doing this if Carl would have said, I'm just having an off day today. I don't feel like showing up today. I don't feel like doing that. Are you kidding me? How different would your life be? You don't think Carl Deichler has had an off day in 21 years? Of course he has. But the vision is so much bigger than him. I sat in that room 12 years ago and listen, I got to have my business presentation, my business opportunity presentation from Carl Deichler himself. Like, who doesn't join after listening to Carl Deichler talk about the business, right? And I listened to him say, we're going to have 1 million coaches. I've listened to him say, I was on the coach advisory board when we transitioned from DVDs to digital and how hard that was. That was so hard. That year was so hard. And I heard him say, we're going to have 1 million subscribers. We have 2 million subscribers. And did you hear what he said on the National Wake Up Call? Or maybe it was in the business op last week. Because this is how he thinks. We just hit 2 million subscribers. And what was the first thing that he said after that? My goal is 3. My goal is 3 million subscribers to Beachbody On Demand. 3 million human beings who have Beachbody On Demand in their lives. Now, do you think on the journey from 2 million to 3 million, he's going to have an off day? I'm going to go with yes. He's married. He has children. His daughter, Ava, is a year older than Jesse. So she would be a sophomore. She was in school in London, and she was an acting. No, I don't think she's musical theater. I think she's more acting. Jesse actually has friends who are friends with her, so there's some connection there. But she was in school in London, so she's in this. So now I'm sure she's home. And so now here's Carl like, well, here's my daughter who was in school in London and she wants to be an actress, except everything's shut down. And now what do we do? And they're in the same place we are trying to figure out what are we doing. You don't think he has an off day, but what's the first thing he says? We're at 2 million subscribers. We got to get to 3. Because there are people out there we need to help because it's bigger than us. And the vision of what we're doing as a company and as a team is bigger than just an off moment, it's just bigger than us. And isn't that so amazing? Y'all, aren't you so grateful for that? Do you know how many people search their whole lives? And we talked about this last week, and just check the boxes and flatline it. And they search their whole lives for something that lights them on fire and that is bigger than them. And we have found it. We have found it. We can't let an off day or an off moment get in the way of our momentum. We just can't. We're better and we're smarter than that. We're better and we're smarter than that. We can acknowledge it. I acknowledge it. This week's off. It's kind of sucky. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. But that doesn't mean I'm not showing up. It doesn't mean I'm still not creating content. It doesn't mean that I'm still not showing up. Like yesterday in the Rise Up Rockstars group, and Ashley Smith did this amazing Instagram training. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, that's new. That's so cool. Let me learn. And the fact that I learned something new yesterday helped my day be not so off, because I purposely put myself in the place of most potential. I didn't just sit there going, no, today's off. No, I showed up ready to learn. I'm not very smart. I'm not very creative. I'm not very talented. But I know that in 12 years, I've had more than one off day. More than one. And I still show up. Because it's bigger than me. It's bigger than us. We have a vision that's bigger than just you and me. We have a vision for this team that is a team goal. It's not a JV goal. It is a team goal. And if we want to make history in this company, everybody's got to be on board. And none of this, I'm just off. I'm just not feeling it. Cool. Get back to work because there's people to help. Sorry, not sorry, if that sounds abrupt. What it is experience and knowledge learned from a lot of years. You don't need to know how many years on this planet and years in this business. And watching, because remember, not only do I have this experience with Beachbody coaching, I see it in athletic coaching too. It's the same thing. Coaching is coaching, and I watch the successful people and the not as successful people, however they define that. And I watch what the difference maker is. If you're watching the Michael Jordan documentary on ESPN, you're seeing this too. Yes, he's talented. But what did he do? More than anybody else on the court, he outworked him. He just showed up. And he kept showing up and he kept showing up and he kept showing up. That was his game changer. That's why they're doing a documentary about him like 20 years after he's retired. Not because of his crazy talent, which is there, but because of his work ethic that he paired with that talent that was so ridiculous that they're doing this documentary 20 years after he's retired. That's the game changer. He showed up. So he's got a jersey, hanging in the NBA Hall of Fame. That's the difference maker. The people who show up even when they're having an off day. Okay, let me read this to you. Sorry, I've already gone longer than I wanted to because I have to be on this BOD group Zoom in 3 minutes. Speaking of BOD groups, I know there's issues. So does Carl. I'm getting on this Zoom in a couple minutes to learn more about it. Okay, I want to read this to you. And I want to read this to you, and I want you to receive it. I can't control how you receive it. I cannot control how you receive it. But I want you to know that it's coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place that I know I've been there. And I know that the answer is action and showing up. It's coming from a place of experience. It's coming from a place of, I've been doing this a long time. So that's where it's coming from, a place of. Successful people hate the blame game and know that it is better to make something happen, good or bad, than it is to have happen to you. Those who suffer from victim thinking which I, the author, roughly estimate to be about 50% of the population. And you and I both know someone who suffers from victim thinking, don't we? I can tell you immediately, it's my mom and my sister, right away. Among other people that I know, those are the two big ones in my life. Those who suffer from victim thinking, which I roughly estimate to be 50% of the population, will hate this chapter and probably picked up this book by mistake. Anyone who uses blame as the reason why something happened or did not happen will never accumulate real success in life. You determine what success is. Will never accumulate real success in life, and only further his or her status as someone just checking the boxes. Those who give control over to another for their success or lack of it will never be in control of their lives. People who assume the position of victim will never be secure simply because they elect to turn over responsibility to another party and because they never elect to know for themselves what they can do. They therefore never take charge for their outcomes going forward, saying, I am a victim, bad things happen to me often, I can't do anything about it. The author goes on to say, whether I'm in control or not, I still elect to claim responsibility. Once you decide to take control and increase responsibility, and that's not like increase responsibility so like you do more. To me, it's increased responsibility for your feelings and your thoughts and your mindset. That's what I interpret that as. Once you decide to take control and increase responsibility for your feelings and your thoughts and your mindset, you will start to find successful solutions to making your life better. So when he says increase responsibility, I don't read that as increase work and work 24/7. No, I read that as increase your mindset, your thoughts, the control over that, increase that, your control over that, because that will provide successful solutions to making your life better. Assume control, increase responsibility by adopting a position that you make all things happen. Increasing your responsibility level will inherently enhance your ability to find solutions and create more success for yourself. I think that's just brilliant. I always have a choice about how I respond to everything. Success isn't a journey, it's a state, constant or otherwise, over which you have control and responsibility. Success is not a journey. I loved that. It's a state over which we have control. You get to define success. You get to define success. And it is okay to have an off day. It's just not okay to stay there. It's not okay to think you're the only one in the world having an off day. In a global pandemic, you're not the only one having an off day. But you are one of the few that's part of an incredible community that has tools and resources that can help you get out of that off day, because you have a vision that's larger than you. You have a vision for your life. You are not here to check boxes. You are not here to be average. You are here to be extraordinary. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you different. You can have an off day, but you're going to take responsibility for that. And you're going to remember that in a global pandemic, you're not the only one having an off day. You're going to remember that it's bigger than you. It's not about you. It's bigger than you. We have tools and resources and opportunity in a community that can change lives, including our own. First and foremost, including our own. And if we're not going to tap into it, who is? April Keever, will you please make sure you've got everyone written down, because today is a giveaway day, and I got to wrap it up because my husband's coming down to do day 3 of Muscle Burns Fat, because yes, he is in the test group because he is a success starter. So that's what I have to share with you today, and I hope you take it in the spirit and the heart and the love that I mean it. I know that you're smart and you're strong and you're capable and you have potential and possibility you haven't even tapped into, and this business can help you tap into it. And we have big goals. Get on board and let's do the work and let's make it happen, because we have lives to change. It's not about us. It's not about us. We have lives to change. Get on board. Let's make it happen. I am obsessed with you guys. I'm obsessed with you. I wake up in the morning thinking about you. I go to bed at night thinking about you. I'm obsessed with you. I'm obsessed with your success. I'm obsessed with what we can do as a team. We can make this happen. Love you guys.